Update. I told my 35-year-old brother to stop expecting me to support him. He freaked out. Original post. So here's the situation. I, 28 female, have a brother Joe, 35 male, who's been living off of part-time gigs, handouts from family, and whatever he can scrape together for as long as I can remember. A few months ago, he asked me for a pretty large sum of money to help him out because he was in between jobs, even though this isn't the first time. He said he was going to use it to pay rent for the month, but I found out he had actually spent it on a concert ticket for himself and his friends. I got really frustrated because, at his age, I feel like he should be more responsible, especially considering that he has been given multiple chances to stabilize his life. I told him it wasn't fair to keep asking family for money when he's not even trying to find a steady job. I even suggested he start looking into getting some proper work, even if it's not ideal, and stop relying on getting by with gigs and temporary stuff. He got really upset and accused me of not understanding his creative lifestyle and said I'm too caught up in conventionality. He also said I was selfish for not supporting him in his struggle because, apparently, everyone else in the family has been helping him. Now he's not speaking to me and I feel guilty, but at the same time, I'm kind of at my limit with him not making any real effort. So, am I the a-hole for telling Joe to stop expecting me to support him? Now for the top comments before reading the update. You're the a-hole for enabling his lazy butt, not writing him off sooner, and lacking the self-esteem to clearly recognize you're being abused. Ignore him. He deserves no contact for at least a decade. Context: someone who is actually part of a very large but healthy family. He is my brother after all. I hope you also understand that. You are doing this to yourself. Don't complain if you continue to give him money. As for your family, if you stop enabling him, tell them you are done, and they can continue to enable him themselves of just stop talking to you about it. I'm not going to do that anymore. I learned the lesson. Not the a-hole. You understand his creative lifestyle better than he does, and you're not willing to fund it. He can live his creative lifestyle all he wants, on his own dime. You know he's not going to stop this unless forced to stop it. Friends and family giving him money is not helping him. It's hindering him. He can never grow all the way up and learn to fly on his own with such a huge safety net beneath him. Cut him off cold. Yes, I am starting to think the same way. As others have said, not the a-hole, as long as you stop enabling him. Look, I'm a mess. I need a lot of help in my life. I'm no freeloader though. The only person anyone should be going to for stuff like this is their parents, sometimes. I could totally paint myself as a tortured artist who doesn't want to abide by conventionality, but I also don't want to be freaking homeless. That means taking care of myself. I'd love to have people give me money so I could write all day and actually use the money to live on instead of buying concert tickets. But yeah, the world doesn't work that way. Your brother is also way too old to have not figured this out. If he were 21, 22, heck even 25, it'd kinda be a different story. But 35? Get lost, man. Your brother's a freeloader. While I wouldn't necessarily tell him all this, I'd just stand firm and tell him you can't support him anymore, financially or otherwise. He's an adult, and he can take care of himself. You could even say that instead of mooching off others, he could try coming up with creative solutions to fulfill his dream of living unconventionally. There's nothing creative or unconventional about freeloading. Sloth is as old as time. That's a really nice point. I would think the same way if he was not my brother, but I am done with this situation. Now for the update. Okay, I need to share something wild. After I posted yesterday, I wasn't expecting the response I got. But here's the plot twist. My brother Joe showed up at my place this morning. He wasn't just upset. He was furious. And honestly, the conversation was even worse than I expected. He told me, straight to my face, that I was ruining his life, and that I was no better than the rest of the family who enables him. He went on and on about how I've never understood his struggle as a creative person, and how it's unfair that I don't support him in the way he needs. He also accused me of being a robot in a capitalist world, and said I was too obsessed with normal life to appreciate what it's like to live with passion. Here's the kicker. He actually had the nerve to say that I was selfish for expecting him to be responsible, because apparently that's not how artists work. He then dropped the bomb that he's been living like this for years because he's not meant to conform to the system, and that I should learn to let go of the idea that everyone should be stable. This was a whole new level of denial. He genuinely thinks the family is supposed to fund his lifestyle because it's part of his artistic journey. I'm honestly in shock. I get that he wants to live differently, but at what point is he just refusing to grow up? How is it my problem that he refuses to even try to get a stable job, especially after wasting so many chances? I mean, he literally asked me for money and then blew it on a concert. How is that not manipulation? I finally told him he needs to figure out his own life because I'm done being his safety net. It's one thing to help out occasionally, but this has become a pattern, and I'm not his personal ATM. The worst part? He tried to guilt-trip me into feeling bad for not helping, as if I owe him because the family always does. I don't know if he's ever going to see my point of view. Honestly, I think he's too far gone. But one thing's for sure, I won't be manipulated into continuing to support this cycle. He needs to wake up and face reality. I do feel bad that our relationship is strained, but I'm not going to apologize for demanding accountability. So, to wrap this up, I'm still standing by what I said. I have every right to expect him to get his act together. He needs to take responsibility for his own life, and the rest of the family can't keep enabling him. If he's mad at me for setting boundaries, so be it. I refuse to be part of the problem anymore. Not the a-hole. You're not ruining his life. He's doing that all on his own. There's a difference between supporting someone and being used. He's not asking for help. He's demanding to be carried. Good for you for setting boundaries. If he truly believes in his artistic journey, he needs to find a way to fund it himself. This is the thing. Unless your lifestyle actively hurts others, a person should be able to live however they want. If OP's brother wants to break free of the system and live unconventionally, all the power to him. But he needs to be able to support that lifestyle for himself or accept the lifestyle limitations his lack of resources will manifest. If he's incapable of either, then he can get a freaking job. That's a sociopath. Your brother doesn't care about you, he cares only about himself. He can find help elsewhere. You did everything you could to help. Let go of this clown. Hard to hear, but he'll probably be like this forever. Cut the cord before he becomes a bigger liability. This is very accurate. People think sociopaths are dangerous or criminals, but many are just consummate manipulators who know how to use everyone in their orbit to their advantage. Not the a-hole. 1. He wants to live an alternative lifestyle? Fine. He can go live in an artist commune and stop mooching off his family. 2. The money OP earns is part of the capitalist world, so as an artist, he shouldn't want that tainted money anyhow. 3. He's more than welcome to let the rest of the family keep enabling him, but OP has no requirement to do so. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving dinner early after my brother's wife kept making passive-aggressive comments about my job? This happened last weekend at a family dinner. My brother and his wife invited everyone over, and I was actually looking forward to it. Everything was fine at first, but then my sister-in-law started in with her usual comments about my job. For context, I work in tech. It's a solid job, pays well, and I enjoy it. But for some reason, my sister-in-law has always had this weird attitude about it. She thinks that because I'm not coming home covered in sweat or physically exhausted, it's not real work. She's made comments before, but I usually let it slide. This time, she was on a roll. She kept saying things like, "Must be nice to sit around all day and make more than people who actually work hard," and "Some of us don't get paid to play on the computer." Everyone at the table kind of laughed awkwardly, but I was getting sick of it. I finally told her I work just as hard as anyone else, and I don't see how my job affects her at all. She rolled her eyes and said I was being sensitive and that she was just joking. At that point, I was done. I finished my plate, thanked my brother for dinner, and left. Now my mom is saying I was rude for walking out and making things awkward, but honestly, I feel like I just set a boundary. Am I the a-hole for leaving? Not the a-hole. As someone who works in tech, I can say we don't just sit around and play on a computer. We deal with a-holes like your sister-in-law all the time. His sister-in-law sounds insecure about her own choices. It's not his fault she feels that way. I would have said that. No need for you to feel jealous or insecure about your job. This is a safe space. We all have regrets. You may have taken a poor path, but there's always time to change directions. The important thing is to not allow your fears cause you to act out inappropriately. Also, you could say, capitalism isn't fair. Sucks to be you. Does she even work? Not the a-hole, but it sounds like your whole family feels some kind of way about your career choice, which means you can choose to lower your contact with them when they are together as a group like that, or you can change how you respond. Personally, in your position, I'd stay really calm and casual and, while still eating, say something like, "Wow, sister-in-law, you've done a lot of thinking about my job. I'm starting to wonder if you spend enough time thinking about me and my work that you could actually draw a salary for it. I can't decide if you're just jealous or if you're insecure and jealous. What part bothers you the most, sister-in-law? My stable career field, my good salary, or the fact I'm not slowly breaking my body down just to pay my bills? Or are you jealous about the whole thing? You know, sister-in-law, it's never too late to go back to school and pick up a career. I could help you find a good program if you wanted to get into some IT work. We each play to our strengths in life. Yours is using your body for work. Turns out mine is using my brain. There's nothing wrong with that. Damn, I can sell my house. I'm living rent-free in your head." Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my estranged father's wife the money he sent me? My father wasn't in my 21 female life growing up. He left my mom and me when I was 2 and refused to pay child support. He quit his job when he was tracked down for support, and he spent time in jail rather than pay. Eventually, my mom stopped fighting because it was going nowhere. She felt like it was wasting resources chasing after him when it was obvious he was going to avoid it however he could. A couple of years ago, he moved about an hour away, and I saw him for the first time since a court appearance when I was 8. We didn't speak either of those times, but it surprised me that he came back. I found out he was married and had more kids from my paternal aunt. He'd reached out to her and wanted to reconnect, and she told him where to go. She was always pretty disgusted that he walked away like he did and refused to support me financially. In December, my aunt told me he went to her house and left something for me there. I asked her what it was, and she had no idea, but she said it was in an envelope. I opened it, and it was a check, and it was a big one too. I tried giving it to my mom, but she told me to keep it and said he owed me, that he abandoned me, and it was the least I deserved. I tried telling her she deserved it more, but she wouldn't even entertain the idea. So after confirming it was legit, I lodged it into my account. Then his wife came looking for the money by going to my aunt's house for me. My aunt made her leave, and I wasn't even there, but she showed up a few days later when I was there and demanded the money. She said it was money that was meant to go to her kids, that he had no right to drain their accounts for me. I told her it wasn't my problem, and my aunt threatened to call the cops. She showed up at my aunt's house again a few days later, and my aunt followed through and called the cops. But apparently, this woman left a message that I was selfish and entitled, and that I stole it from her kids. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. You stole nothing. Her kids have been supported by that deadbeat all their lives, and she didn't care whether you were dead or alive, or if you had food to eat or clothes to wear. That's all the back child support that deadbeat owes you, like your mom said. You are entitled to that money and did not steal anything from anyone. Keep calling the cops every time she shows up. She chose to marry and have kids with a deadbeat who ghosted his own child for 19 years. Karma has finally found her address, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I have no idea, nor do you, what the dynamic is between him and his wife. I have no idea, nor do you, how much money is really going to her and the kids. Take him at his word the money was earmarked for you and mom, so it's your money, that's it. No idea if she's just trying to rip you and your mom off. Move along, nothing to see here. Unless you want to reach out to him and ask him directly, which actually would be the thing to do. Is he really trying to make amends? Is he on the outs with his current family and just trying to get back in touch and in your good graces? But that's your choice if you want to find out or just enjoy the money. Not the a-hole, not your monkey, not your circus. Your absent dad is definitely the a-hole for you, and it seems like he's being the a-hole to his current family as well. But you are no less entitled to that money than they are, and his current wife isn't entitled to harass you or his sister over an issue she has with him. Your aunt was right to involve the police, and she should do it again if it happens again. Take your mom out for a nice dinner, and then use the money in whatever way is best for you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my ex-husband enough time to buy our marital home? So, me, 31 female, and my ex, 30 male, were married for a couple of years, and we divorced in 2021. The divorce was messy, and I shall tell you more about it later, but we got our assets divided, except for our shared home and a car. My ex, whom I shall refer to as John, wanted to buy our shared home and car for himself, and I was fine with it. I just wanted to get rid of everything that was our shared property. I moved to a rental unit and began to wait. First, he said it would be a couple of months, then half a year, then a year, and so on. He told me he was saving money, that his financial situation was hard, etc. And I just gave him time. John needed to save approximately 4,000 to 6,000 euros to get the loan, and I believed that he could save that pretty quickly. But then started the excuses. He got laid off, he was burnt out, and so on. Although, through all of this, he had money to travel abroad and buy an almost brand new motorbike. Amidst all this, he wanted me to pay for the house renovations, upgrades he got for the house, and he even tried to get me to pay for some electrical renovations. I declined any payments because I didn't benefit from the renovations. He said the house would still be sold to him at the same price. And I didn't even get any rent from him staying there. I also didn't pay the mortgage because he was living in the house rent-free. Now 4 years have passed, and still nothing. Same excuses. He lost all the money and said that was the new American president's fault and didn't have anything. He needed more time. I said I'd had enough and threatened legal action and found myself a lawyer. He tried to settle things, but gave no answer. Now John is mad that I made him ask for a bank loan or possibly take him from his home. Because the settlement didn't work, we are going to court with this. And with that, either he buys the house and the car, or he moves and we sell it all. So, am I the a-hole for only waiting 4 years and not giving him enough time to save approximately 5,000 euros? Not the a-hole. You waited way too long. This should have been settled before the divorce was finalized. You state you have not been paying the mortgage. I sure hope he has. Because if your name is on the mortgage, that affects your credit as well. He either refinances and gets your name off mortgage and deed, or the house is sold. Yeah, at max she was an a-hole towards herself. 4 years are far too long. At max I would have waited 6 months, but it would have been better to do it ASAP with everything else. If he doesn't have the money, then that's bad luck. But no, definitely not anyone else's fault. Also, the audacity to ask for money for renovations. That would have been my breaking point latest. Not the a-hole for refusing to give him more time. If he can't save enough in 4 years, he can't afford the house and car, and they need to be sold to someone who can afford them so the proceeds can be divided between you. I really don't know why you waited 4 years though. After a year, it must have been obvious that he was just making excuses, and either couldn't or wouldn't come up with the money to buy the house. More like wouldn't, if he was spending money on foreign travel during the same period. Yeah, after like a year, I did get a realtor to put the house on sale. But he denied access to the house to get some pictures. And John said he would still buy the house, so I gave in. 2020 and all that. Update. Am I the a-hole for saying if my wife wants to be a trad wife, she must always look her best, wait on me, and provide sex without question when asked? Original post. I'm 35 and my wife is 40. We've been together 15 years. The last couple of years she's really fell down the trad wife black hole, and it's driving me crazy. At first it started off with her saying she doesn't want to work anymore, and lately it has escalated to saying men who make their wives work are abusive. We both have well-paid jobs, I'm a self-employed builder with a team and earn around £100,000 a year. She works in management for the NHS and earns around £50,000 a year. We both work, I guess I should say worked for her, really hard and have no kids. And 3 years ago managed to pay our mortgage off and lived in a nice enough area where I would have happily stayed forever. She, however, suddenly wanted a massive house that we didn't need. I should have saw what was coming. She was looking at £700,000 houses, which would require a mortgage of £500,000 after we sold our house. I gave in and we bought a house. She then wanted a new car, which again I caved to, and she got a car that is worth more than she earns a year. She then decided she didn't want to work anymore. She said her job was crap, and I said take a lower paid one, then that you'll enjoy more. She said no, she just doesn't want to work full stop. She also doesn't want to give up anything she has. Over the past couple of years, it has been obvious she's trying to lose her job without leaving, despite me saying that I can't afford the house and car and holidays on my own. She started bringing this trad wife crap up, but said she'd want to hire a cleaner as the house is too big for her to clean alone, and she prefers my cooking to hers, so I'll still do all the cooking. So I said, "You basically want to dress up pretty and bake the odd cake?" She stormed off and said, "I don't get it." She again brought it up yesterday, and I said fine, she can do it, but she's got to get up before me and make sure my breakfast is ready like in the videos she watches. She's got to be dressed as a sexy version of a 50s housewife, like in the videos she watches, from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close them. The house must be spotless at all times, like in the videos she watches. I want huge packed lunches for work, like in the videos she watches. I want to come home and have beautiful pies and cakes ready for pudding like in the videos she watches. I want a bath ran for when I get in, and then come down to a proper meal every night, like in the videos she watches. I then want a foot rub while I eat the cakes and pies she makes like in the videos she watches. I also want sex on demand, how I want it when I want it like in the videos she watches. She called me abusive, a user, sexist, etc., and stormed out to her equally delusional sister's house. Don't get me started on her. I'll be honest, I'm ready for divorce if this carries on. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. At least you don't have kids, so divorce is easier. Probably best to do it while you're both still earning well, so there's no question of alimony. Not the a-hole. In a traditional household, women don't make no contribution. Their contribution is through domestic labor, while men provide financial value by going out and working. Her contribution would already be far below average, given that the bulk of the traditional wife's time is spent on children. She wants to make no contribution and is disguising it as trad wife. Exactly. She wants to be a kept wife, not a trad wife. Trophy wife, who is no prize. Get the divorce, mate. It'll be cheaper and less stressful than dealing with a crazy wife every minute of the day and night. It's not about the trad wife lifestyle. She simply doesn't want to work. She merely wants to sit on her backside, enjoy the things she has badgered you into paying for, and do nothing. There is a lot of this kind of crazy going around. It won't get any better either. What will it be next? Vacations on the French Riviera? A bigger, nicer, more expensive car? The list goes on and on. I am leaning this way, mate. I think a divorce is more likely than anything else at this moment in time. Luckily, she's afraid of flying, so I've managed to avoid the expensive holidays apart from the odd Eurostar trip to Paris. She makes me feel like a 10-pound millionaire, though, trying to be something we aren't. I know we are better off than most, but we don't earn footballers' money, which is what I think she aspires to. You are crazy to agree to the $700,000 house. You'll be okay, but it makes things so much tougher. If she wanted that, why not save up with the old house and then work up to the new one and both of you work together? That's what I suggested. With my job, we could have bought a cheese house, done it up and made some money, and then moved upwards slowly and stayed debt-free. I have modified our house a bit, and it's probably worth £800,000 now, but it's still not a nice feeling having such a big mortgage and knowing she wants me to cover it alone. Dude, divorce her if she doesn't act normal. You sound like such a catch. Like, I don't like rushing with divorce, maybe marriage counseling first? But you have no kids, so you can easily split without drama. Be assertive. Say no. Say what you expect, and that you want to split if she doesn't go back to how she was. Say she has X amount of time. Up to you. A month or two. Haha, I don't know about a catch. I've asked for couples counseling numerous times. She's not interested. Now for the update. I'd like to answer a few questions from my first post before an update. No, my requests were not serious, and I can't believe how many people thought they were. It was me trying to prove a point of how ridiculous she is being. Like I said in the comments, I don't want a maid or a slave. I want a partner. Before my wife got on this train, she was a very ambitious, career-driven person who wanted to climb to the top. She was never really on social media until the pandemic. The trad wife thing started a couple of years ago. A lot of people suggested couples counseling. I've asked many times and always get the same response. I don't need counseling. There's nothing wrong with me. On to the update. We spoke Saturday morning and I told her that I can't go on like this. I said to her bluntly, the trad wife thing is never happening, and she either accepts it and we go to couples counseling or we split up. I'm not dancing around her BS. She chose to split up. I asked her if she even really wanted to be a trad wife, or if she's just trying to force me away, like she's trying to force her job to sack her because she doesn't have the balls to quit herself. She said yes, she does, and there's plenty of dating sites that cater to this dynamic. I told her I'd seen them, and they are more sugar daddy dynamics, and without being horrible, she's too old for that. This set her off. She said I'm wrong, and that I'm the one who can't support my wife, so I'm the bad one in the marriage, and a real man would be able to give her the life she wants. She was shouting and screaming this at the top of her lungs. It's about the only time I've been glad to be in our new house so the neighbors didn't hear. I got a bit petty at the real man comment and said, you can't cook, you can't clean, and you don't have sex. What part of being a trad wife do you offer? I then stole a comment from my last post and said she doesn't want to be a trad wife. She wants to be a trophy wife. She just said I'm unbelievable and has gone to her sisters again. I'm going to take the next couple of weeks and start talking to a divorce lawyer to see what this entails. Then once this ball has got rolling, I'm freaking off to Portugal for a couple of weeks to myself. You can't cook, you can't clean, and you don't have sex. What part of being a trad wife do you offer? LMAO, that is some serious burn. I'll be honest, it was a rehearsed line LOL. And totally correct, she offers nothing. She will be at her sister's for a long time. Wonder if the poor sister knows this. Yeah, not to be mean, but rich sugar daddy men aren't lining up for a 40-year-old. She's 40, and in the UK where there isn't a conservative trad wife or trophy wife culture, she's going to be divorced and on benefits in a crappy bedsit. Take care of yourself, OP, because she's intent on blowing up her life for some reason. I'm so here for the rude awakening. I really hope there's a part 3. Some women really don't understand the term trad wife. She just want to do nothing. No work, no housework. Just spend and have fun. If your husband is on board with that, then it's not wrong. Internet really make us dumb. She needs therapy. My mom quit her job in order to have me. Stress caused miscarriage and etc. But she cooks and takes care of me and grandparents. Both were very sick during their last few years. She dedicated a lot, so after grandparents passed and I graduated, my mom lives just like how I describe. No work, no housework, unless she wants to do so. Multiple overseas trips per year, and mostly spend her time binge-watch C-drama. But the thing is, my dad thinks my mom deserves to live how she wants to after years of dedication for our family. Next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my wife after the birth of my child? Original post. My wife, 32 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 7 years. After a miscarriage, she admitted to me that she had multiple affairs over the last 4 years of our marriage. Her last affair ended a year ago. She begged for us to go to therapy to work on our marriage, but I refused to go. During this time, I had moved out of the house. Occasionally, I would go back to take care of the house and animals, and she would constantly try to manipulate me into coming back. I had every intention of getting a divorce, but the process is slow. I hated the betrayal I felt, but I also missed my wife during the separation. One thing led to another, and we had sex, and she got pregnant again. Shortly after the news came, I had to leave for work about 12 hours away from her. She would call to give me updates about the pregnancy and talk about our marriage. We were separated for majority of her pregnancy. I told her that I still wanted a divorce, but I would consider reconciling after the baby was born. After several months away from her, I came to the realization that I could not trust her, nor could I forgive her for her infidelity. I feel like the last 7 years of my life has been a lie. While I was away from her, I met someone and a relationship blossomed between us. I truly feel like I love this woman. She has been made aware that I am still married and that I have a baby on the way. My wife is not aware of my new girlfriend. Fast forward to a month ago, I had to go home for the birth of our baby boy. My wife has been pressuring me to reconcile, but I told her that I plan to divorce her again. After the birth of our baby boy, she has been blaming me for ruining our family because I don't want to stay with her and try to fix our marriage. I want to have a co-parenting relationship with my wife, but she is acting very erratic while I am here for our son. Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my wife? Any advice on how to deal with this is appreciated. Now for the top comments before reading the update. One thing led to another. The English-speaking world's most popular euphemism for I did something really stupid. DNA test that baby as first thing. Info. Are you sure the baby is yours? Yeah, I could see her knowing she was pregnant and seducing him to make him believe it's his to save their marriage. I mean, how can you trust someone who has several affairs in 4 years? Doesn't matter in some states if they're married. Where I live, if my wife gave birth to a baby not mine, I am still put on the birth certificate, and if I leave, I'll be paying child support. Baby is mine. Everyone sucks here. You knew you wanted out, yet you had sex without protection, and even led her on by allowing her to believe that you might reconcile later if she gave birth. Honestly, this is really poor decision-making on your part, and I think you need to work on yourself before entering into another committed relationship. Edit. Thank you all for the mixed reviews. It was expected. I will be talking with a lawyer and will update once I have a chance to talk to one. Appreciate the sound advice as well. Now for the update. Thank you all to those who did not think I was the a-hole here. It's been a rough 2 years. Here's how it went down. I took a paternity test, and my son is confirmed to be mine. I have filed for divorce, but the state in which I lived is very conservative and has a waiting period before it can be finalized. The divorce was filed as uncontested, and I will be paying child support while also staying in his life. I am selling our house, and she is moving to a state close by, where my son will only be a couple of hours away. This option also makes her closer to family. Custody arrangements will be updated once she has moved. This has been hard emotionally because she has blamed me for ruining our chance as a family and our son's future. It feels manipulative since I no longer want to be with her, and I've taken care of her our entire marriage. My wife still does not know about my girlfriend at the request of my girlfriend. As much as I want to integrate my girlfriend, this will take time to do, and I also felt like my wife doesn't have to know about her until everything has settled and the divorce finalized. It's been difficult for me being away from my son, but I do get to see him every day. I was there for his birth and 3 weeks afterwards. I will be taking leave again to spend more time with my son, take care of the house, the divorce, and to help get her and my son moved. I am glad this marriage is ending, and while it's tough right now with my son, the mutual goal is to have a co-parenting relationship. Despite the things my wife has said and her wanting to continue the marriage, I feel my son will be better off knowing what an actual loving relationship is. My girlfriend has been very supportive of me, and I'm ready to move on in my life with her. Trying to get any help or legal advice in the state we got married has been a nightmare and has been overall negative to the choice I have already made. The marriage is dead, but I will be in my son's life. I do not agree with the empty values there. Any advice on how to ensure a healthy co-parenting relationship without a lawyer is needed. Thank you all again. Not the a-hole, but you really should not have slept with your wife that last time without protection. This made everything much more complicated by giving her leverage. This, plus the fact he was furious at ex-wife for adultery, but just couldn't wait for the divorce to be finalized and have some patience before dating someone. He rushed into getting girlfriend while having an ongoing divorce and a baby on the way, and also conveniently hid he was with someone, using the excuse his girlfriend is the one who requested to him to not tell about her existence to the ex-wife. They knew what they were doing. Wasn't this what he was complaining about ex-wife too? Honestly, the only person I genuinely feel sorry for in all this story is their son. Same. Cheating is abuse, and I'm all for leaving someone who does it. But the moment he made that special sperm delivery, I no longer give a damn about his feelings here. That was a risk someone else who didn't choose anything will have to pay for the rest of their life, not to mention how messy he's being since then. Not the a-hole for ending the marriage, but a piece of advice. Don't commit to your new girlfriend. You don't know her. You thought you knew your wife of 7 years and you didn't. This says a lot about both of you. Take your time, and I mean a lot of time. Good luck. Right, she's a bit of a psycho for getting involved with a man in this predicament. Actually, I would have a really hard time trusting this guy. He said he was done with a cheating wife, but then he got her pregnant. He can't even trust himself. I feel bad for the kid with these two idiots as parents. Update. Am I the a-hole for refusing my mother's proposal for family's therapy after she neglected me for 18 years? Original post. For a bit of background, my mother cheated on her husband and had me. They divorced, and my mother's affair partner left her alone. I grew up with my mother hating me, truly believing that I was the reason her life was ruined, and she never missed a chance to remind me that it was all my fault, and that no one would ever love or care about me. This went on for 18 years, and on the day of my 18th birthday, I left that house. After insulting her and wishing for her death, I walked away without a second thought or looking back. 12 years later, she first tried to send me a text explaining that she was wrong, that she had gone to therapy, that she understood her mistakes, and that she was asking for my forgiveness. My reply was simply, "Oh, you're still alive? What a shame." Clear enough, but apparently not. She actually had the guts to show up at my gym. After I finished my boxing training, I saw her in the parking lot. My rage started to build, and when I tried to ignore her and put my bag in the back of my car, she came closer. Her first words, "This is your car? Wow, you must be very successful. I'm so proud of my son." Believe me, my rage is always there, but for some reason when I heard this, it skyrocketed beyond what I could have imagined. I was extremely close to knocking her out and walking away as if nothing had happened, but somehow I didn't. I just told her to cut the BS and tell me what the heck she wanted. She looked at me like I was some kind of crazy person and said she missed me and wanted to make peace because she had gone to therapy, realized her mistakes, and was there to ask for forgiveness and to try to have her son back. I replied by saying that her son was dead and that she wasn't my mother anymore because I was no longer that scared kid she once knew. I told her that now, I was just a guy with mental health issues, anger issues, and trust issues, all thanks to her and the amazing way she raised me. Of course she started crying and again asked for forgiveness. She admitted that I was right, that it was all her fault, and that she understood how much damage she had caused me. But I cut her off and told her, "No, you don't understand the damage you caused me. You can't understand it at all." This pathetic scene went on for 5 minutes before I asked her what the heck she really wanted. My money? My car? My house? My organs? My life? Through her tears, she said she was sincere, and all she wanted was family therapy because I miss you. I can only imagine what I did to you, but I'm here to ask for your forgiveness, and to see if we can be a family again instead of two strangers. Out of patience, I told her that only when I was completely insane would I forgive her, and since I wasn't yet, she could do whatever she wanted. Talk as much as she wanted, but I would never change my mind. I still stand by what I said on my 18th birthday, and she could never change that. I pushed her away from my car while she was crying and just drove away. Now, to be honest, I didn't feel revenge, happiness, or anything after saying those words to her. I didn't feel anything at all. I was just stating the truth. As always, I talked about this with my friend, And this time, he told me I was completely wrong. Because to him, she was sincere, and from the words she used, she genuinely seemed sorry and really wanted to reconnect with me. He thinks I should give her at least one chance. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, but please talk with someone about the feelings you are having. You are not wrong, but you are allowing this woman to continue to rob you of a happy and healthy life. You deserve better. Thanks for your words, but even without my mother, my life isn't happy and healthy. Like I said, I have mental issues, trust issues, and anger issues. She can't do anything worse, but I'm just in disbelief at her courage to pretend that after all the stuff I went through, I would accept her and believe her. Please get some individual therapy. Not for her, but to make your life better. If she keeps bothering you, find out if you can get a restraining order. Your friend is wrong. You owe her nothing. And I am a mother myself. She was a horrible mother. Now that she's getting older, she's thinking about who's going to take care of her. She cares about herself, and I think she's trying to manipulate you. Not the a-hole. Tell her you'll forgive her when she can go back in time and fix all the damage she did to you. You should consider therapy, not for her, but for yourself. I lived with physical and emotional abuse myself. And believe me, it stays with you. I wish you well, OP. I'm sorry you went through that. Only you know your next moves, but your friend is incorrect. She just went 12 years, well over a decade, ignoring you. Block her and record video if she comes around you. You can get a restraining order against her for harassment. Don't make it obvious until you have at least 5 days worth of evidence. She can't keep showing up around you if you don't want her to. Now for the first update. Please tell me all of this is a freaking joke, and I'm in some kind of nightmare and I freaking need to wake up, because this is absolutely freaking ridiculous. I sincerely thought that my mother would drop it and just leave me the heck alone, but somehow she didn't, and now she's even used a TV show for her pathetic move. We're not in an English-speaking country. Believe me, I'm still confused and shocked. After my last encounter with her, which failed miserably, I don't even get how or why she was expecting something different. She decided to go on a TV program for this BS. A few hours ago, my friend sent me a video of her on a TV show trying to tell her story. She admitted that she was a bad mother, that she did therapy, that she was ready to do anything to be forgiven, how sorry she was, and all types of BS. The TV show is one of those where people try to reconnect with friends, parents, and all kinds of people, basically telling their story and hoping for reconciliation. Now seriously, how desperate is my mother to even consider this nonsense? I mean, I told her last time to leave me the heck alone, and that I didn't want to have the slightest relationship with her, and now she pulls this pathetic move. Really? I'm starting to think she's more screwed up than me at this point. How the heck do I convince her that she will forever be a horrible mother and that her son died, and I don't want anything to do with her? For real, how difficult is that to understand? Now, rage aside, I watched that pathetic show and discovered more about why she's insisting so much. Apparently, my father and my mother have been back together for 10 years, and now they want their family back. My father already has 2 kids, both boys, and now he and my mother want me back to play happy family. Freaking clowns. If they think that after this I would change my mind, they don't know me at all. There is no reason in this world that would ever make me change my mind. The only good thing about this whole pathetic and ridiculous show is that, when I saw it, I laughed. But it wasn't a simple laugh like any other. It was different, like my mind started to go crazy. So finally, in 2 hours, I will see a psychiatrist because I am genuinely scared of myself, and I think now is the moment to finally sort things out. I hope I don't have to update you again, because I don't want to be part of this ridiculous circus. I just want to be left the heck alone and live my life alone. Okay, so here's what you do. You stay calm. You don't curse, scream, or show any anger when the TV show contacts you. What you do is simple. You tell them your mother is unwell, that she is incapable of love, empathy, or compassion, and really should be under the care of mental health professionals. and that you're disgusted that the TV show would exploit such a deranged and delusional woman for ratings. Then you make it clear you no longer have parents. You will never appear on their show. You will not hesitate to expose the TV show for exploiting a mentally unwell woman if they refuse to leave you alone. The TV show would welcome any lengthy reply to add drama. Simply say nothing and hang up. If they persist, then go the lawyer route with a cease and desist. Definitely send them a cease and desist letter and tell them that you are going to get a restraining order against both of them if they don't leave you the heck alone or if they send any TV crews to harass you. Send a copy of the letter to that TV show and let them know that you are going to take legal action against them if they keep airing that crap without your consent. Oh, and therapy is definitely a good thing. All the best. OP could also use that C&D letter to ask that the episode be pulled from the air, as it could be considered harassment and make the show liable to a lawsuit too. Second update. For Pete's sake, here we are again in this pathetic charade of nonsense. I followed one of your pieces of advice and filed for a restraining order against my mom and my family just today. And what happened? Not only did my mother show up again at my gym, but this time she brought my father too. For some reason I can't and don't want to understand, but this time, things got heated and almost ended badly physically. Like the last time, my mom showed up at my gym when I was going to my car, and I noticed a man with her. I immediately understood that he was my bio father. My mother, seeing me, started crying again and trying to guilt-trip me by saying that she even tried to convince me she had changed by telling her story on that TV show, and she didn't know what else she could do. I directly told her that the only thing she needed to do for me was to disappear from my life and off herself. Only then would she finally be useful for something. She started crying even more, sobbing and yelling, "What the heck can I do to be forgiven? What? How can I prove to you that I've changed? How?" I didn't understand why this pathetic circus of yelling and crying was even happening, since I have always told her that she was the reason for all my problems, and that I would forgive her only when I was insane. But this time, my father came into the scene too. I put my bag into the car, opened the door, and was about to leave when he blocked me and started yelling at me about how I could make my mother so desperate and make her cry so much. Out of what little patience I had left, I closed the door and walked straight up to his face, telling him to stay out of this, since he was a perfect stranger to me and a coward, a man who abandoned a pregnant woman, escaping his responsibilities and leaving my mother to unload all her frustrations and rage onto a freaking innocent child. I kept walking toward him, face to face, making him step back, telling him how he was everything but a man, not a decent human being, and the last person on this freaking planet who had any right to talk to me. Believe me this time, even more than the last, I was really close to unloading 30 years of rage onto him. Not only did he fail to realize what kind of piece of turd he was, but he actually had the guts to provoke me even more by saying that this wasn't the right tone to use with my father. I couldn't help it. I just laughed out loud, hard. I repeated about 20 times, "A father? A father?" Apparently my laugh enraged him even more. When I stopped laughing and turned my back, trying to finally leave this pathetic nonsense, I noticed his shadow. He was about to attack me. Fortunately, I reacted quickly and caught his hand, but this time, I let out a bit of my rage. I didn't beat the crap out of him, but I started twisting his hand hard. I just stood there, calmly twisting it while my mother, still crying, was screaming at me to stop hurting him. It went on for a few seconds until he started yelling that I was hurting him and begging me to stop. I continued until he finally said, Okay, we won't bother you, just stop it." So I released him. I looked at his hand. It was a mix of red and violet, and then I drove away. I canceled my psychiatric appointment yesterday because I'm still not ready. Besides, apart from this, something else happened today, and I felt something strange. So first, I want to figure that out before I finally decide about therapy. Believe me, I don't know what else to do. I have told my mother in every possible way that I hate her and want her to off herself. I filed a restraining order today. More than this, what the heck am I supposed to do? Because I'm sure this isn't over. See if the gym has cameras that caught the interaction. being he tried to attack you first, you were just defending yourself. Hopefully, the gym caught it on camera and you can use that to help get a restraining order. Actually, this is a good advice. We'll do this. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I won't take care of her when she's old after she abandoned me as a kid? I, 29 female, was raised by my dad after my mom walked out on us when I was 6. She left to find herself and started a new family with another man. She barely kept in touch. No birthdays, no holidays, not even a call when I graduated college. For most of my life, I accepted that she didn't want to be my mom, and I moved on. Fast forward to a few months ago, out of nowhere she reached out. At first, I thought maybe she wanted to reconnect and apologize for the past, but nope. She told me she was struggling financially. Her health wasn't great, and she needed someone to step up and take care of her. Apparently, her husband left, and her other kids weren't in a position to help. I told her flat out no. I wasn't going to play caretaker for someone who abandoned me. I reminded her that she made her choice years ago, and I don't owe her anything. She got mad and started crying, saying, "But I'm still your mother. You can't just throw me away like I'm nothing." I don't feel guilty. She made her bed, and now she has to lie in it. But part of me wonders if I really am being too harsh. We share the same blood after all. Now for the top comments. Why are you even talking to her if she abandoned you as a kid? I really thought she would reconcile with me, but it seems she just contacted me because she needed something. Not the a-hole. You don't owe her anything. She made her bed. Time to sleep in it. I was willing to forgive her, if not for the ulterior motive behind why she wants to reconnect with me. Unfortunately, she still isn't interested in being your mother. If she was, that would be a relationship to consider. That isn't what is happening here. Don't let unresolved feelings of wanting your mother's approval and love take you down the path of becoming her caretaker. And don't let a sense of guilt be the reason either. She has no shame for deserting you. If she didn't want or need something, she would not have gotten in touch with you. I am sorry if this sounds harsh. You sound like a compassionate person, and wanting a relationship with your mother is something that you hope for. I just don't think you will find what you are looking for. Not the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not making my son give rides to his stepsister to and from school? I, 45 male, share 3 kids with my ex, 16 male, 14 male, and 11 female. We divorced 10 years ago. My ex, D, remarried 8 years ago and has another biological daughter, 7 female, and a stepdaughter, 14. My kids have never really gotten along with their stepsister. She pretty much gets whatever she wants. She has always had her own room and bathroom at their mom's house, while my daughter had to share with her brothers. She does not do chores and expects my kids to do whatever she asks them to do. Things have been really bad the last 2 years, and a little over a year ago, my oldest came to live with me full-time. A few months later, his brother followed. My oldest turned 16 back in December, and I bought a car for him. My only request was that he take his brother and sister, my kids, to school, which he agreed to do. My sons and their stepsister go to the same school. Not long after I got him the car, Dee started asking that my son take his stepsister to and from school. My ex's neighborhood is on the route to school from my house. He refused. My ex tried to make me force him to do it, but I refused. Well, last month, we had a winter storm come in. The first round was not supposed to be bad, so there was school, but the weather quickly got worse than predicted, so the school let out early. My sons were walking to the car with a friend to head to my house. Their stepsister was standing near the car with a friend and was on her phone. She told my son, "Mom says she cannot come get us, so we need to ride with you." My son refused. She handed my son the phone, and my ex was on the line. She demanded that my son give his stepsister and her friend a ride. She was across town getting groceries before the storm got worse. He refused. His stepsister started yelling at him. He ignored her, and they got in the car to leave. She and her friend got in front of the car so he couldn't move. He honked his horn and told them to get the heck out of the way. They eventually did, and my son left her and her friend at the school. A teacher saw the incident, So we were called by the administration about it. We told them what happened. My sons were not in trouble, but they said, "We need to work out this family conflict." Afterwards, my ex and her husband tried to talk to me and blamed me. I told them, "It isn't my fault y'all raised an entitled brat no one likes. Y'all have enabled her behavior for years. I have tried to get y'all to address it, but I am done. Until you stop being a worthless mother and stepdad, I do not want to hear anything from either one of you. D. Your own sons despise you. That is all on you." Then we left. I have not spoken to my ex since. I do feel bad for my daughter because tensions have been high at my ex's house, and she is there half the time. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Well, if it isn't the consequences of their inaction biting them in the butt. Not the a-hole. Your ex chose her stepdaughter over her own kids. She chose her new husband over her own children. His daughter is just an extension of him in her eyes, while her children with OP are an extension of him and an unwanted reminder to her new husband that he came after OP. OP's kids basically remind stepfather and mom that he is getting OP's sloppy seconds. And of course, she doesn't want to lose another husband, so she is going to favor his children over her ex's children. Not the a-hole. Am I wrong for accusing girlfriend for cheating on me? Found pregnancy test. Original post. So my girlfriend and I have been together for just under a year. We don't live together, we both work full-time, and we are exclusive as far as I'm aware. About 3 months ago, I noticed my girlfriend spending a lot of time on the phone with her friend Jessie. She says that Jessie is a good friend, and that's it. However, she often spends any time she can on the phone with him, even when she and I are out. Their conversations don't lead me to think anything, but about 1.5 months ago, my girlfriend said she was going to visit Jessie, who lives 2 states over. I couldn't go because I had to work. Of course, I told her that I wasn't comfortable with her visiting a male friend out of state, but she said that Jessie is just a friend. She would be staying at his place, but Jesse is also a single father of 2 young boys, so my girlfriend assured me nothing would happen. Despite me voicing my opinion, my girlfriend took the trip and shared her location to put my mind at ease. She returned a week later, and we moved on with life. However, about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend asked me to go to our local Target to pick up an online order she had placed. She told me she ordered shampoo and a few hygiene items. I agreed and went to pick up her order. When I got to the customer service counter and gave them her name, they brought out a bag with a pregnancy test in it. Shocked and confused, I told them that this wasn't what she told me was in her order. I checked the name and phone number attached to the bag and found that it matched my girlfriend's number, so it couldn't have been another girl with the same name. They then brought out the bag with the items she had told me to get, and I left without asking more questions about the pregnancy test. Shocked and confused by this, because there was no real way I could have potentially impregnated her, we used protection. I later asked her why there was a pregnancy test at Target under her name. At first, she said she had no idea and didn't order a pregnancy test. I asked her to show me her Target app to prove it, and she said that it was probably her sister, since her sister uses her Target account to order things sometimes. She also claimed that women sometimes use pregnancy tests to regulate their PMS, or for other things besides determining if they're pregnant. I don't know much about how this works, but she assured me she wasn't pregnant and that the test wasn't a sign of her cheating when she was on the trip. The other night, we went out to dinner and she made it a point to prove that she isn't pregnant by ordering a few cocktails. Am I wrong for accusing my girlfriend of cheating on me while she was away? I'm so paranoid, but I also don't have real proof that she did. Edit. Needed to clarify the part about the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test was part of a separate online order. She asked me to pick up her online order at Target, which she said consisted of shampoo, deodorant, and some lotion. When I went to the counter and gave them her name, they brought out the bag with the pregnancy test. I said this wasn't what she told me was in her order, so they checked again and brought out a second bag with the right stuff, as previously mentioned. After checking the info on both bags, I confirmed that both orders were under her name/account, so I believe she secretly placed an online order for a pregnancy test and planned to get that later while asking me to get her shampoo. The pregnancy test was not in the same bag as the stuff she asked me to get. I never saw the pregnancy test after that, so I don't know if that truly was an order she made by mistake or if her sister used her Target account to order that for herself. However, I did bring up the fact that her sister lives about 20 minutes from her and has a Target much closer to her, so why would she place an order for a pregnancy test and have the pickup location further from her house, even if her local Target was out of stock? I find it hard to believe that her sister would order a pregnancy test under her account and pick it up near her house. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Sure, the pregnancy test could have been placed in her order by error, but then she'd have just shown you the app to prove she didn't order it and wouldn't have blamed her sister. She also wouldn't have lied about women using pregnancy tests to regulate PMS. This is absolutely not the truth, and you should be insulted by this lie. The only thing pregnancy tests are used for is to determine if women are pregnant. That's it. She has changed the story like 5 times, and you want to believe her so much that you are starting to believe her. Her having cocktails proves nothing, except that the pregnancy test was negative. She went to stay with Jesse despite your reservations about it, lied about the pregnancy test, and is making you think you are paranoid for thinking she cheated, without protection, probably. Her having cocktails proves nothing, except that the pregnancy test was negative. Or if it was positive, she plans to abort. The pregnancy test isn't a sign of her cheating, but her reasoning is. Pregnancy tests don't regulate anything. Her changing stories and excuses are all you need to hear to know she's hiding something from you. Also, it's probably her sister's, but if you don't buy that, she has a backup excuse for it. Now for the first update. So as an update, I realized that although my girlfriend and I have protected sex, the chances of me getting her pregnant are still possible. However, I strongly believe that despite our intimacy, I couldn't have possibly impregnated my girlfriend. Not to be disgusting and personal, but I never finish inside her because I want to reduce the chances of having kids until we're both ready. That's why when I saw the pregnancy test, I immediately thought she cheated on me. Anyway, I went into a panic last night after reading all the comments and freaked out. I went to her apartment while she was at work. She gave me a key and found her iPad. I tried using her birthday as the password, and to my amazement, it worked. I immediately went through her messages and found evidence that she, in fact, had sex with her friend Jessie. I'm honestly so devastated by this, and I've been such a nervous wreck since last night. I haven't eaten and I've barely slept. Yes, I know what I did. Secretly going through her iPad and messages was wrong, but I had to know if she was cheating on me, and if that pregnancy test she secretly ordered was because Jessie may have gotten her pregnant. Now I'm waiting to confront her, but I honestly don't know how. How do I tell my girlfriend that I know she cheated? Am I wrong for going through her iPad and messages? Part of me feels wrong for this, but you have no idea how much it hurts to know she did this. She was my first real girlfriend in a long time, and now I feel like an afterthought. Edit. As far as I know, she is not pregnant. She wanted to prove this by having a few cocktails when we went to dinner last week. There's no baby involved, thank God. I'd ghost her and give her no closure. Save all the evidence. This is the way. No contact for her and no closure. It's the most effective justice you can get. And no contact will be healing for you. Nothing she can say can excuse or explain what she did, so why give her the opportunity to try? Not wrong, the pregnancy test and her preposterous answers to your questions about it caused enough concern to do some digging. Just say to her, I know. Leave and block. Though sometimes I think it would be worth confronting but not admitting you know. Tell her the pregnancy test has convinced you she cheated and ask her to come clean. Then demand she show her phone. If she refuses, you can say she has proved you right and dump her. I know the cleanest is to drop off the key and ghost, but I hate that lets her off the hook from having to squirm a bit in front of the person she betrayed. Now for the final update. So last night, I told my girlfriend that I needed to talk to her. At first, she kept saying she was busy, but I insisted on seeing her in person, so she finally said to come to her place around 8 p.m. I went over and reiterated how, ever since she got back from her trip, things have felt weird. She claimed I'm the one who's making things weird by believing that she cheated on me. She continued to claim that the pregnancy test was not hers and that her friend Jessie was just a friend and they just hung out. I then proceeded to tell her how I know she cheated because I saw the thread in her messages. "You came here without me knowing and went through my personal messages? That's so messed up and creepy, to be honest," she said. We got into a slight argument as I told her that my suspicions were correct and she was trying to deflect the conversation. I asked her to give me her phone so I could show her all the messages I saw, which were very clear and explicit. Of course she refused and said, "We are not married. We don't live together. You don't own or control me." While I agreed with her on that part, I decided to end things quickly. I simply put her copy of the keys on her coffee table and told her, "You cheated. Plain and simple. Goodbye and good luck." I walked out and she made no attempt to stop me. Later, she tried to text me and said that she was sorry for what she did. At first, she claimed that Jesse was an old boyfriend that she never told me about, and that they dated years ago before she met me, and that he moved away several years ago. She claimed that the messages I saw were old conversations they had, but I quickly told her that was obviously not true. She swore that she didn't mean to cheat, and that Jesse must have gotten her drunk and it led to sex. She assured me that she is not pregnant with anyone's baby. I told her, "That's good, because I don't want anything else tying me to you." I wished her good luck again and haven't heard from her since. Personally, I'm relieved, but I'm so upset and devastated by all this. I spoke with my friend Eric, who told me that he had an ex who cheated on him too, but she later tried to contact him years later when the dude she cheated with turned out to be a bum. Hoping I can move forward from this. Thank you all for your input. She dug herself a hole the second she tried to say she had a pregnancy test to regulate PMS. Cheaters always find the stupidest excuses. I mean, I've never cheated, but the obvious answer would be, "My period's late and I didn't want to stress you out since we've been so careful and aren't ready for kids. But I was super anxious and couldn't think about anything else, so I thought I'd take it and just know." See? Easy. Glad she got caught though. He deserves honesty. The sister excuse was right there though. Like, I'm a girl. I've purchased a pregnancy test for a friend before. Most recently because her last 2 attempts had ended in early miscarriage, and her husband took it really badly. She wanted to spare him the heartache. He is now officially the world's most enthusiastic dad, by the way. So glad it's now an ex-girlfriend. She's a lying, cheating idiot. "You went through my phone?" is pretty audacious when someone else went through her vagina. Cheaters sound so stupid saying this. You feel betrayed because I went through your phone when you shared your genitals with somebody else? OP should have just broken it off when he said he wasn't comfortable with her going, and she went. There are normal boundaries for a relationship, and she broke them then. I have tons of friends of the opposite sex, and if they tell me they are with someone so we have to do X like have our own hotel rooms or not stay at each other's houses, it's fine. That's normal. Also, she shared her location to make him feel better when she was already at the location that should make him worry. Where could she possibly have gone that would have concerned him when she's already at the house of a guy he was concerned she'd cheat with? I'm not sure if this lady is very dumb and thinks she's smart, or just thinks OP was very dumb, but it's definitely one of the two. Maybe both. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé I don't want her to wear her late husband's wedding ring during our ceremony? I, 30 male, am engaged to Emily, 30 female, and we're getting married this fall. I love her deeply, and I've never been more sure about anything in my life. That said, there's one thing that's been eating at me, and I'm not sure if I'm being selfish or just honest. Emily was married once before, to a guy named Tyler. They got married young, early 20s, and he passed away in a car accident about 5 years ago. It was sudden and tragic, and from everything I've heard, they were truly in love. I met Emily 2 years after his death. At first, she was very open about it, and I respected that. I knew coming into this relationship that I wasn't her first great love, and I was okay with that. I still am mostly. Over the years, I've supported her through moments of grief, anniversaries, and random waves of sadness. She still visits his grave on his birthday, and she keeps a box of his things in our closet. I've never touched it. She's shown me a few pictures of them together, and I've listened to her talk about what kind of person he was. I've tried really hard to respect that part of her life while also building our own. Which brings me to now. A few weeks ago, Emily told me she plans to wear Tyler's wedding ring on a chain around her neck on our wedding day. She explained it as a quiet tribute, not something she wants to announce or make a big deal about, just something personal. She said she wouldn't be where she is now without having gone through that loss, and she feels like carrying that part of her story into this new chapter is meaningful. I didn't say much at the time because I didn't know how to respond, but the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. So I finally told her how I felt. I said I want our wedding day to be a celebration of us, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea of her wearing another man's wedding ring, even if he's gone. I told her it makes me feel like I'm sharing the most important day of my life with someone who's not here. I said it makes me feel like second place. She got very quiet, then told me that she wasn't choosing him over me, and that she's allowed to honor her past while still moving forward. She said grief isn't a door you close. It just becomes part of who you are. I get that. I really do. But at the same time, I don't think I'm asking something outrageous by wanting this one day, our day, to be about the life we're building together, not the one she lost. Since then, there's been a weird tension between us. She hasn't brought it up again, but she hasn't said she's changed her mind either. I feel like the bad guy, like I'm trying to erase someone important to her. But I'm also struggling with the idea of standing at the altar and knowing she's literally carrying a symbol of her first marriage, as she says vows to start a new one with me. I've told no one in my life about this, not my friends, not my family, because I know how it might sound. But internally, it's tearing me up. I don't want to hurt her, and I definitely don't want to start a marriage with resentment or guilt. But am I wrong for what I said? I haven't asked her not to wear it explicitly yet. But I made it clear I'm not comfortable with it. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This must be incredibly difficult for you. I understand her sentiment, but I also understand and feel for you. Throughout the post, I kept thinking about how you are going to be looking at your soon-to-be wife as you say your vows. And not only will you see her, you will also see that ring. I would strongly suggest couples counseling and having that unbiased third party help you both with this issue. If she wears the ring, you will be hurt. If she doesn't wear the ring, she will be hurt. This could cause resentment from the start. A therapist can help you figure out what is best for both of you to start and have a happy and fruitful marriage. Also, it doesn't sound like she has truly moved past her grief, so regardless, a therapist may be a good idea. Postpone the wedding for some heavy-duty couples counseling and uber heavy-duty grief counseling for her. For at least a year. She is not really to let go and move on. She may never be. I was widowed at 29 and remarried 6 years later. I can totally relate to your fiancé's rationale for this, and also understand your very normal feelings about it. That said, I think she's wrong. Your wedding is inherently, implicitly, and factually about your relationship together, and her late husband shouldn't be a part of it. There are lots of ways she can continue to honor and remember him the rest of her life. This is one day. My worry for you is that she's doing it as a sort of apology to him for moving on with you. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that either. I agree. It seems she wants to wear it because she feels guilty for moving on. I don't believe moving on is a thing. Moving forward, yes. Moving on, no. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I've been feeling like a bad person for even having these emotions, so it helps to hear that it's okay to feel conflicted. I do love Emily, more than I've ever loved anyone, and I want to be sensitive to everything she's been through. I'm not trying to erase Tyler or pretend he didn't matter. I just want to feel like I matter too, especially on a day that's supposed to mark the start of our life together. I'm hoping we can have another honest conversation about it soon.